All right, strap yourselves in, everyone, because today we are walking the Green Mile.
Ooh.
This one, this was going to be interesting. You guys have just sent over a mountain of stuff on this film, articles, notes, even some like personal reflections. I mean, it's clear the Green Mile is more than just a movie for you. It's like a whole experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And I get it.
Yeah.
This film, it sticks with you. So, all right, let's dive in, shall we? Miracles, injustice, the power of human connection, all this happening on death row in the 1930s. Intense stuff.
You know what gets me about the Green Mile? It's how they take this brutal setting, Cold Mountain Penitentiary, and they turn it into like a character. We're talking 1935, the shadow of old Sparky hanging over everything, literally.
Yeah.
It just gets under your skin. But then you get these moments, these flashes of humanity and grace that make it so much more than just another prison movie.
Yeah, it's like even the name, the Green Mile itself, right? It's the last walk to the execution chamber, but they use green, a color we associate with life.
Yeah.
Talk about setting a mood right from the start.
Absolutely.
And then you've got Tom Hanks.
But Tom Hanks, yeah.
As Paul Edgecombe, this prison guard who's battling, of all things, a brutal urinary tract infection.
Oof. Yeah, that's gotta hurt.
Seriously. But it makes his compassion for the inmates that much more striking, you know?
Definitely. It's like his own suffering makes him hyper aware of the suffering all around him. Paul, he's our guide through this whole world. And honestly,
Yeah.
Tom Hanks, he nails it. He's got this quiet strength, a real decency. You can't help but root for the guy.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you have John Coffey, played by, well, the late Michael Clark Duncan.
Incredible performance.
Oh, for sure. This guy, he's a giant, wrongly convicted of a horrific crime.
Right.
But there's this gentleness about him and those healing abilities.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. Talk about walking miracles.
I mean, one minute he's healing Paul's infection, the next he's bringing Mr. Jingles, the mouse, back to life.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Jingles.
And that scene where the insects fly out of his mouth.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, it's creepy for sure, but also weirdly beautiful. I remember seeing it the first time. I was like, what in the world did I just watch?
Exactly. And he never fully explains it. Just, I takes it back.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder about good and evil, you know?
Sure.
Like, can someone actually be pure goodness in a world filled with so much darkness? John Coffey, he's an enigma. And Michael Clark Duncan plays him with such depth, heartbreaking vulnerability. You just can't watch him and not feel this wave of empathy. It's impossible.
Okay, but let's talk about the character I wanted to throw something at the screen every time he showed up. Percy Wetmore.
Oh, boy.
Doug Hutchison plays a sadist so convincingly it's scary. Percy just oozes cruelty.
Yeah.
From taunting those inmates to, like, deliberately stepping on Mr. Jingles. Ugh. You can feel the tension skyrocket every time he's on screen.
You know, he's the living embodiment of that saying, power corrupts. He's obsessed with reminding everyone they're going to die.
Right.
Like, he needs to constantly assert his authority in just the worst way possible.
Oh, absolutely.
And that botched execution of Edouard Delacroix.
Oh, man.
Talk about tough to watch.
So rough.
Percy's sabotage, it turns a tragic situation into something truly horrific.
Oh, absolutely. It's like watching a train wreck, you know? You know it's going to be awful, but you just can't look away.
It's true.
It forces you to confront the flaws in the system, the possibility of innocent people being condemned, and whether any execution can ever be truly humane. I mean, just heavy stuff.
Exactly. And it puts Paul in this impossible situation. He's a good guy, believes in justice, but now he's caught between doing his duty and this growing certainty that John Coffey is innocent.
Talk about a moral conflict, man.
Talk about an understatement. What makes this film so gripping is Paul's struggle. I mean, what would you do in that situation, knowing a man with seemingly divine powers is about to be executed for something he didn't do?
Right.
It's like this pressure cooker of conscience.
It really is.
Yeah.
And, you know, it makes you think about those real-life cases where evidence comes out after an execution. The Green Mile takes that and just cranks the emotional intensity way up. It's not just about facts. It's about faith, you know?
Yeah.
Believing in something beyond what you can see or prove.
Absolutely.
And then you have Mr. Jingles, just this tiny mouse running around death row. He's like a little beacon of hope, you know, in this super grim setting.
I could say that.
Yeah.
For sure, he brings joy to those inmates, even to some of the guards. And when John Coffey brings him back, it's this tiny miracle that reinforces the idea that even in the darkest places, life finds a way.
That's what I love about movies like The Green Mile. They take you on such a wild, emotional ride. It's not just entertainment. It's like they're poking and prodding at your soul.
Mhm.
But hold on, we've got a lot more to unpack here.
Oh yeah, we're just getting started. Let's dive deeper into the characters, the symbolism. Get ready, because this ride, it's far from over. Welcome back. We're right in the middle of this wild ride, the Green Mile. And we were talking about the emotional roller coaster of this film, how it grabs a hold of you, you know? One thing that really adds to that is how the movie handles its characters. It's not just a simple good guys versus bad guys scenario.
Right, right. It's so much more nuanced than that.
Everyone feels so human,
Yeah,
even the ones you just love to hate.
yeah. Like even with Percy, you get these little glimpses of why he is the way he is, you know? Like
Hmm.
he's got this insecurity, this need to prove himself, but it comes out in the worst ways.
Oh, for sure.
Makes you think about how these power dynamics play out in the real world too, right?
Absolutely. It's a case study in how unchecked ambition and fear can just twist a person. But then you have the other guards. Brutus, Dean, even the warden, Hal Moores, they're all dealing with this heavy job, the constant presence of death. But they find ways to hold on to their humanity. It's like a testament to the power of good people trying to do right, even in the most challenging situations.
And the way they all interact with John Coffey, it just amplifies everything. I mean, he's this gentle, giant, radiating kindness, and it starts to chip away at the cynicism, the harshness of the prison.
Mm-hmm.
Even the warden's wife, Melinda, she's dying of a brain tumor, but John Coffey's touch gives her a little bit of relief, you know,
Yeah.
a moment of peace.
That scene with Melinda, man, it's powerful. It shows that John Coffey's powers, they're not just about physical healing. He's touching their souls, easing their pain, reminding them of the beauty that still exists in the world,
Right.
even with all that darkness.
It's like the movie is saying that even when things are at their bleakest, there's always room for compassion, for connection, for hope. And speaking of hope, we can't forget about Mr. Jingles, that little mouse who keeps defying the odds.
Yeah, Mr. Jingles. I mean, in a way, he's a symbol of the resilience of the human spirit. This tiny creature surviving in a place that's literally designed to extinguish life. And the fact that John Coffey can bring him back.
I know. He's like, what is going on?
It adds another layer, right? This suggestion that there are forces at work we just don't understand.
Yeah. It's like a wink from the universe.
Yeah.
A reminder that maybe, just maybe, there's something more, something beyond what we can see and touch. But let's not forget about the man behind this whole incredible story, Stephen King.
Oh, yeah.
This guy, he just has this knack for tapping into our deepest fears and desires, doesn't he?
Stephen King, he's a master storyteller. He takes the ordinary, the familiar, and twists it into something extraordinary, something terrifying and beautiful all at the same time.
And The Green Mile is the perfect example of that.
Absolutely. He takes us right into the heart of darkness, into the depths of human cruelty. But he also shows us those glimmers of hope, the moments of grace that make life worth living.
And Frank Darabont, the director, he just gets King, you know.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
adapted a few of his books, and each time he captures that essence, that blend of horror, suspense, and heart that makes King's work so captivating.
Darabont's direction in The Green Mile, it's masterful.
Yeah.
He creates this atmosphere, this world that feels so real, so gritty, so oppressive, yet within all that darkness, he lets these moments of tenderness, of humanity, shine through.
Yeah.
It's like he's painting with light and shadow, using contrast to highlight the beauty that can exist even in the most unexpected places.
And he pulls these incredible performances from his actors. We've talked about Tom Hanks and Michael Clark Duncan.
Oh, yeah, phenomenal.
But the entire cast is phenomenal. Sam Rockwell as Wild Bill Wharton.
Chillin'.
So chilling. James Cromwell is the warden. So understated, yet so powerful.
It's like Darabont created this space where they can truly inhabit their characters.
Yeah.
Where they can explore those deep emotions and bring these really complex individuals to life. The result, a film that feels so authentic, so emotionally resonant, it stays with you long after the credits roll.
It really does. You mentioned earlier how this movie is an experience. And I think that's spot on. It's not just a story. It's a journey into the depths of the human spirit
Yeah,
with all its flaws and its triumphs.
absolutely. And it's a journey worth taking. But hold on, we've got more to explore. The legacy of The Green Mile, the questions it raises, the impact it's had on viewers, we've just scratched the surface here.
Yeah, don't go anywhere, because in the final part of our deep dive, we'll be exploring the lasting impact of The Green Mile, its critical reception, and those thought-provoking questions it continues to raise. All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We've covered so much ground already with The Green Mile, the characters, that amazing story, the performances. But what always hits me about this film is how it sticks with you, even after it's over.
It really
Like
does.
it plants these ideas in your head, and they just keep growing, the more you think about it.
It's true. This movie isn't just entertainment, it's an invitation to really think about the big stuff.
Yeah.
About life and death and justice. The whole human experience. It doesn't give you easy answers, but it makes you wrestle with these tough questions, and that's what makes it so powerful.
I totally agree. And, when the movie came out, it wasn't just audiences that were moved.
Right.
Critics were blown away. 4 Academy Award nominations.
Yeah.
Best Picture. I mean, come on. That speaks volumes about the impact of this film.
It resonated because it hits on these universal themes, you
Yeah.
know? Things that cross cultures and time periods.
But sure.
Injustice, the search for meaning, the struggle between good and evil. These are things we all deal with in some way. The Green Mile just gives us a powerful way to look at them.
One of the biggest things I keep coming back to is John Coffey's execution.
Yeah.
Was it a tragedy? The loss of an innocent life?
Hmm.
Or was it, in a way, a mercy? Like a release from the burden of his powers?
It's a question that really stays with you, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
He says he's tired of the pain, tired of the darkness in people. But he's also capable of such incredible healing. It makes you wonder if someone like that should ever be allowed to die, even if it's what they want.
I know, it's tough.
Yeah.
And then there's Paul living this super long life after seeing John Coffey's miracle and his execution. Is it a gift, that extra time? Or is it a kind of punishment? Being constantly reminded of the injustice he couldn't stop.
It's like a double-edged sword, you know?
Yeah.
He gets to see so much, generations come and go. He experiences life in a way most people never could. But he also carries that memory, the knowledge of what was lost, the what-ifs, you know?
Right.
It really makes you think about what it means to be human.
The Green Mile doesn't shy away from the difficult stuff, the
No.
things we don't always want to face.
Yeah.
But it does it with such heart that you end up feeling more human yourself, more alive, even if you cried a few times along the way.
It's a film that stays with you, that makes you want to talk about it, to question things, to maybe even look at the world differently.
It does.
And that's what great art does, right? It changes us.
Couldn't have said it better. The Green Mile is a must-watch for anyone who loves a powerful story, anyone who wants to be moved, challenged, and ultimately left with that sense of hope, even in the face of all the darkness.
It reminds us that even when things are really tough, the human spirit can endure, that compassion can show up in the most unexpected places, and that maybe, just maybe, there's something more to this life than we fully understand.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into The Green Mile. We hope you've enjoyed this journey with us. We hope you'll keep thinking about the themes, the ideas this film offers. And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more great movie reviews. Until next time, keep watching, keep thinking, and keep those conversations going.